So this lesson is an introduction to using Solidworks, and today what we're going to do is we're going to make a three-part rocket, so a 3D model that is comprised of three different parts, and that's going to be the body of the rocket, the nose cone, and the tail fins. In order to get started, you need to go to the Solidworks icon and double-click on it, then go to New Document. In SolidWorks, there's three different types of files: part files, assembly files, and drawing files. We need to start off by creating the three different part files, and then we'll create the assembly and then the drawing. So double-click on Part, and where we've got now the SolidWorks screen. We've got the feature menu on this side and the sketching menu on this side. This is our drawing area, and this is the feature tree. Up along the top, we've got menus for zooming, for different views, and also for saving and opening of files. In order to get started, what we need to do is we have to sketch the profile of the object that we're going to do. So what I do need to do when I first start up the file is to right-click, go to Document Properties. So I right-clicked in the gray area over in here, and I need to check that this says ANSI. If it doesn't, then you need to change it to ANSI. Some of you will have it as already ANSI and some won't. If yours is already as ANSI, you won't need to change it again. If it isn't, every time you start a new file, you'll need to change it. The other thing we have to change is units. Again, if yours is already set, then that's great. Otherwise, we need to set it to inches, go to fractions, and set it to 16. So I have to do that for every new part file, every new assembly file, and every new drawing file. And then we can say OK. So now if I go back and do the sketch again, so I'm going to click and do the circle. Click on the circle there, and now I'm going to dimension it. Now I can put in the dimension again, so 1 space 1/4, and now notice that it resizes. So this is different than in AutoCAD, where you have to know what the diameter is in order to make the shape or to make the circle. Programs like SolidWorks are called Parametric Modeling. That means that you can sketch the shape first and then set the dimensions, and it will be constrained to the dimensions. The shape will be constrained to the dimensions that you provide. If I at any time wanted to change that, I can just double-click on the dimension, type in 2, and click. And now it's at 2 inches. Now I'm going to change it back to 1 1/4, and select the check mark. And now I'm done with the sketch. So I can accept the sketch up here, and now what I need to do is I need to turn it into a three-dimensional cylinder. So extruding a circle will make a cylinder. So we go up over to the feature menu and we go to Extruded Boss. Notice that it changes to an isometric view, and we can see what it's trying to do for us. All right. So here I've got some choices here, and right now we're going to use blind as our starting point for the extrusion, which really means that it starts really at one end. The next thing we need to do is put in the distance, so we're going to make it 15 inches long, and when I click somewhere else, you'll notice that it starts to show us what it looks like. I want to see the whole thing, so I'm going to go up here to the zooming commands and click on the zoom to fit, and now I can see the whole thing. Now, just as in AutoCAD, there's different ways to do the same thing. So an easy way to make our cylinder as hollowed out is we can use the thin feature. So I come down here on the left-hand side to the thin feature and type in the thickness of the wall, which in our case is going to be 1/16 of an inch, and click somewhere else. Now we can see what it's doing here. I'm going to zoom in and just see around the area of the sketch. Computer just doesn't want to do that. Okay, and if I take a look at that, I hit escape in order to get out of that zoom area command. If I take a look at it, I can see that my original sketch here, which I want to be the outer diameter, when I do the thin feature, it's actually putting the 1/16 wall going out from the sketch, which is opposite of what I want. So I can click on this direction key, and now notice that the sketch is the outer diameter, and the yellow, which is the inner wall, is the inside diameter, and that's what I want. So now I can click on the check mark for extrude. I'm going to zoom to see it all, and I can rotate the object going up to this icon, and I can rotate it around to see it from any angle. Right? There's different views over here that I can go to. All right, and you'll have more. My screen is a little bit cut off here just for the purposes of what I'm doing. A useful one over here is the isometric view. So if I go over here, I can go to display and go to the isometric view. Well, I'll just go to I'll just click on the rotate and I'll go over here, so I can see it in a almost isometric view. Okay, so that's the end of the work on the body. So now notice over here we've got the feature tree. If I can see that I've done one extrusion, and it was a thin extrusion, so which was the thinning that we did. If I click on the plus, I can see everything that's within that extrusion. So we've got our sketch, so it highlights the sketch, or the extrusion. And if I ever wanted to make a change to either one, I could click on the sketch, right-click, and edit the sketch, and I could change the diameter or change the sketch completely. Or I could change the definition of the extrusion. I could go to Extrude Thin, right-click on it, and go to Edit Definition. And if I wanted to change it to 20 inches, then I could do that. Right? And that would get updated all the way through the part file, the assembly file, and the drawing file. So I want to go and change it back, so I right-click on it, go to Edit Definition, change it back to 15 inches, and click on it, and that's everything that we need there. So now the last thing we need to do here is to save it. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to go to My Documents, which is what you should do. And then we're going to create a new folder. Okay. And we're going to call it Solidworks. I'm going to have to call mine something other than SolidWorks. I'll have to call it SolidWork. I'll call mine SolidWork. You can call yours SolidWorks. Okay, and now I can double click into it. And now what I want to do is make another new folder and call it Rocket. So that's going to be our folder that has everything to do with the rocket in it. Now what I need to do is to name the part, so I'm going to call this the body. So down in the file name, save it as body, leave the save as type as a part file so you don't have to change that, and click save. And notice that now up at the top it tells us that it's that the file name is body. Okay, and I'm going to end the video at this point, and you can go on to the video part 2 to see the next part.